Today I'm going to share top 10 ideas I want to be implemented in Risk Global Domination app. Let's get started. The idea number 10. Better communication phrases, phrases which would help to communicate better. Current phrases like wow, the dice hate me, victory, so lucky and so, of course are fun and much better than nothing, but let's be honest, they don't really help us to communicate. So I would like to see phrases which would sound like that. Let me get out of your continent, so nobody will be wasting troops. Or, stop foolishly attacking me, we need to team up against the strongest player if we still want to win. Or like, stop attacking and wasting your troops, there's no way you're getting this continent. Something along these lines. Also, I think it would be great if we could tell our allies which continent we want them to attack. Anyways, let me know guys, what do you think about the chat system and Risk? Are you satisfied with current chat phrases, or differently, you would like that new chat phrases would be added as well? And if so, then let me know your chat phrase suggestions in the comments section down below. The idea number 9. Ready up button before the start of the game. It's bizarre when you start a 6-player game and like 2 of players don't ready up, isn't it? It's not that fun to play a game with bots in it at all. I mean, if we want to play with some bots then we could just add some by ourselves. But why we should always be forced to play with bots when someone don't ready up? It's especially bizarre when you start a 4-player game and one of the players doesn't ready up, that's a total game changer. If I start a game with 3 real players, I want to play a game with 3 real players and not some bots. I don't care if people disconnect after they start the game, as we still get ranking points for beating them, so if they want to give away their rank points for us, then it's up to them. But when a player immediately is replaced by a bot, then it couldn't be worse. Not only you won't get any ranking points for beating him, but that's not that fun to play as well. However, sometimes we need to understand why people don't ready up as well. I mean, we need to understand the reason why the ready up button was introduced. Sometimes the host of the game just immediately starts the game when you joined, so you don't even have an ability to leave the lobby if you didn't like it. Like for example, there are players who are hosting a 1 versus 1 game with a bunch of bots, and I understand that it would really suck to get involved in such a game without having an opportunity to not play this game after the host immediately started the game if the ready up button wouldn't exist. Also, when you join a lobby you want to know what rank players you will be playing with, and for example if the host of the game immediately starts the game I join, and most of the lobby is contained with novices, then of course I won't ready up, but the host of the game has left no choice for me, as he started the game the same second I joined and filled up the last spot, he didn't give me the time to get out of the lobby. So I understand the need of the ready up button. However, the part of the real players being replaced by the bots really sucks. So there is a solution: ready up button before starting the game. Players must tick a box that they are ready in a lobby. That solves all of the current problems. Well, I understand that there could be some troll persons who won't click on the box that they are ready no matter how long you wait, but that's not a problem at all, as the host of the game can kick them out of the lobby anytime he wants. Also, if a player sees that it's taking a long time to get a game going, then of course he could always untick the box and leave the lobby. And I'm just showing one of the designs. The ready up button could also be like a slider, like on off button, like from green tick mark to red cross. The idea number 8. The ability to spectate friends in public games. Sometimes you don't want to play a game by yourself, but you would sure enjoy spectating a game of your friends or a game of strangers, especially of high-rank players. It would definitely be so fun to see a game with a bunch of masters and grandmasters in it, or imagine spectating a game of someone from the leaderboard. Wow! We would not enjoy watching their great gameplay, but we would learn a lot from them as well. Additionally, it would become so hard to cheat for the high-ranked leaderboard players, people would surely be spectating them, and in case these players would cheat, then they would be immediately reported to the developers and then banned. The idea number 7. Team battles. A new Risk game mode where players battle as teams, either 2 versus 2, 2 versus 2 versus 2, or 3 versus 3. Teams win together instead of single-player victories. A lot of people who are familiar with each other, either their friends, colleagues or family members, like to play Risk together. Some of them aren't familiar with the fair play rules and they play and work together to gain advantage in public games, which is considering cheating. So I think team battles could help reducing cheating at least for a little bit, as then people who know each other would get an opportunity to play a game and collaborate in it together without breaking the fair play rules. The idea was suggested by the developers 3 years ago. Also, it's one of the most voted feature in Risk Global Domination Community Discord, and still haven't been implemented in the game. So come on developers, we want team battles so bad. The idea number 6. Secret missions. This is Risk with a twist based on the 1993 secret mission rules. Each player has a specific set of missions. Players do not reveal their missions to each other, and the first person to complete their missions wins. Missions are: Capture Europe, Australia and one other continent. Capture Europe, South America and one other continent. Capture North America and Africa. Capture North America and Australia. Capture Asia and South America. Capture Asia and Africa. Capture 24 territories. Capture 18 territories and occupy each with 2 troops. Destroy all armies of a specific color, or if one's own troops are that color. Capture 24 territories. Note well, if a player's mission is to destroy all armies of a particular color, and another player kills off the last armies of that color, their mission changes to capturing 24 territories. The player who completes his or her missions first wins. Secret missions would vary depending on the map, since different map has different areas to capture. And the developers could create even more of the missions, with the time adding even more and more of them. The idea number 5. Draw button. It is really needed feature in the game. There are so many situations, especially in fixed card games, where the game ends up in a stalemate situation. And guess what is happening then? The players continue doing the same moves over and over again, until either someone suicides on someone, or someone disconnects and becomes a bot. And if there are still many players left in the game still continues in a stalemate situation, but with just less players, and that sucks. Also, if the game is very long, then some players would just suicide to get a second place just not to lose ranking points, and that really sucks as well. So I think a draw button is really needed in the game for sure. The idea number 4. More relevant competition. I know it's an abstract term, but here are some ideas which I think would make the game more relevant. As of now, I don't really think the competition is relevant at all. A lot of people who have a high position on the leaderboard are just inactive, or play very rarely, or if they are active when, it's probably no surprise that most of their games, if not all, will be unranked. So the leaderboard is basically made of inactive players. So I think it would be very great to implement this feature, 10% per X weeks rank points decrease. Also, after you reach a Grandmaster rank, the game becomes kinda unplayable. Well, actually not, you can still play and rank up to some specific point, but then eventually you will start losing ranking points even finishing in second place in a game with 5 masters, and that really sucks, I must admit, and I think probably I would even lose ranking points finishing in second place with 5 low-ranked Grandmasters as well. It becomes impossible to compete playing multiple player games. And it kills all of the satisfaction to compete. So then 1 versus 1 games becomes the only way to compete for the top places on the leaderboard. As if you are multiple player games player, you cannot really compete anymore, so then you have no other choice but just either be satisfied of your rank floating around the same position going up and down again, or you can start a new account and try reaching a Grandmaster rank over and over again, trying to reach in as less games as possible, every time trying to beat your record. If you are multiple player games player, you cannot really compete with players who play 1 versus 1 games every time. The thing is, that people who play 1 versus 1 games will always have higher leaderboard position than those who only play multiple player games. But also not so many people play or like 1 versus 1 games, so it becomes kinda hard if not impossible to compare your stats with theirs, as your rank position and all of the statistics will always be better if you only play 1 versus 1 games. It's relatively easy to rank up playing 1 versus 1 games. I recently made 2 videos in which I am showing how to reach Grandmaster rank in no time playing 1 versus 1 games. Basically, from a fresh novice account, you can reach a Grandmaster rank in 4 hours with basically no losses at all. Even bad players can reach a Grandmaster rank easily, if they play 1 versus 1 games with novices and beginners. So at the end, the top positions of the leaderboard are being reached by the players who have the most time to play 1 versus 1 games, beating tons of noob players. You could be an average player, but you will still have a higher rank position if you only play 1 versus 1 games, than the player who is more skillful than you, but only plays multiple player games. So that brings us to the top 3 idea. We need to have 2 different leaderboards. One for 1 versus 1 games, and another one for multiple player games. So then players who only play multiple player games would have an opportunity to compete for the highest places on the leaderboard as well. Also, it would be great to have different leaderboards for different card types, fixed and progressive, and game modes, World Domination, Capital Conquest, 70% Domination, 5-round Rumble and Zombie Apocalypse. More leaderboards would be great, but also we should be very careful with them. We don't want to make too many of them, that would be just ridiculous, like if we would have for every setting or so. So I think it would be great to have more leaderboards, but we would need to be very accurate and cautious of creating them. The idea number 2. The automatch getting a huge overhaul. The rank will be gained in automatches only, playing with totally random players. This is the idea the developers are currently working on. So I thought I will add it to my top 10 risk ideas list, and explain why I do think it will be great. First of all, since all ranked games will be with random players only, I assume that there will be a few different sets of fixed settings in this new automatch, so I would guess they won't add 1 versus 1 games into that, and if so, then it will make the game even more relevant, as not so many people play 1 versus 1 games and it's so easy to rank up playing them. But if you don't play them, then you cannot reach the very top of the leaderboard, and players who play 1 versus 1 games, every one of them has their own different settings. And what I mean by saying all of that, is that currently you cannot really compare yourself with other players. So if all of ranked games will have some different sets of fixed settings and without 1 versus 1 games, then the competition can really become relevant and fun again. Also, since all of the ranked games will be in automatch only, I assume like many more people will be using the automatch, like tons of people. And I believe that the new automatch will be trying to match you with the similar rank players. And isn't that would be so great, guys? I'd really love it, as it's the fastest way to rank up, by only playing with the players who have the similar rank as you or higher rank. And you wouldn't need to wait like 20 minutes anymore of getting a full lobby of Masters. Or imagine getting a full lobby of Grandmasters. Wow, guys! That would be so incredible. As of now, you can only dream about it. It's impossible to get a full lobby of Grandmasters anyhow, unless you will invite your friends who are Grandmasters to play with you. And finally, the idea number 1. Smart, self-learning AI. I'd love to have an AI in the game, which wouldn't be programmed in one or another way, but that it would actually have an ability to learn from its own mistakes and gradually improve and improve. I would like that playing against AI would become a real challenge. That I could learn a lot from it. Especially it would be fun to play 1 versus 1 games, since the AI would know all of the best strategies and it would be extremely hard to beat it, and it would be so good as you could learn a lot from it. It would be very fun playing with AI in multiple player games as well, and probably even more. It would be hilarious and so funny to see the AI beating all of the real opponents. Maybe the AI would even invent some new strategies which we currently aren't even aware of. Wow, guys! Can you imagine that? That's mind-blowing. We would learn from AI so much. So this is my top 10 list, guys. This video wasn't made to criticize the developers. It was made to suggest them the ideas which would make a game so much better. Well, at least in my opinion. I support the developers and I appreciate their hard work of making the game even better. I left a 5-star review for them, and I recommend you doing it too. Go show some appreciation and love by leaving a 5-star review and a nice comment too. Anyways guys, let me know in the comments section down below what do you think of my ideas, and feel free to share your top 10 ideas too. Thank you very much for those who are supporting the Risk Forever channel. Special shout out goes to these people. Thank you guys for watching and I see all of you soon. Peace out.